All right. We are live. It's official. Help a Teacher Facebook Live, Monday night, 7 Central. Can you believe we're at episode 39? Oh my God. Like, if I need another example in my life for feeling old, like, it's crazy how time flies. And, I've always said that about education. Like, in education, I think because this is like a seasonal sport. It's like football. You show up and there's this. We kind of have pregame where we're professional development before the kids come. We're kind of tailgating, and then the game starts, and the first quarter happens, and we are into this game, and before you know it, it's October, and we're burned out and exhausted, and we're pushing and pushing and pushing, and then there's halftime. We get right there at the holidays, get a couple of weeks to kind of regroup and recharge, and then we're back in it for the third quarter. And we push and push and push and spring break. And then there's the fourth quarter and we push. And it's kind of like that 2-minute drill at the end of the game when all this stuff is happening. And here's my theory. And I could be way off on this, but it's my theory that that's why our lives seem to go by so fast, because in other professions, you just show up like you graduate from college, I guess, and show up on the job. And you're thinking, I have to do this day in and day out every year and for the next 40 years. With the start and stop and halftime and third quarter, fourth quarter, it seems to me, man, it seems like of all the professions, this is the one that flies by so fast. Hey, you know what? Here's what I want to tell you guys is when I am interviewing guests, I see all these questions pop up, and what about this? What would you do with that? But sometimes, like, the guest is into their story and doing their thing, and I feel like I don't want to interrupt this guy or this lady. Man, what they're saying is awesome, and who am I to interrupt? So here's what I thought. I thought what we do today is we would do just a straight Q&A, and that way, if there's any questions that you guys have that maybe you've asked in the past and like you felt like I ignored you, which I kind of did, I guess, but I was trying to be polite. We have a guest, it's like we have company, and I was trying to give them the floor. And so this way, if there's anything that you've ever want to ask or just talk about, and I'll brainstorm on it. I'm not saying I'm going to have an answer. I'll tell you that right now. But I'll do my best. You know what? Of all the things that have changed for me over the years, as doing conferences and speaking around the country and going to schools and hosting events and all that, is maybe like 10 years ago, people would always ask about a particular kid. I got this one kid. They always want all the attention in the conference. I've got this one kid. What do you do with this kid? And years ago, I would give them an answer. Like, I would tell them but now you know what I do? I tell them the truth. Like, I don't know that kid. You're the one that lives with them. Like, I don't know. And, honestly, I don't know you either. You might be the problem for all I know. The kid might be fine. So sometimes, I just don't have the specific answer for a specific kid with a specific issue. But oftentimes we can talk in general terms. And, after being in this gig for 30 years, and I've seen a lot of stuff and a lot of kids and a lot of situations, we'll have something that I can draw on to help and maybe provide some answers and solutions and brainstorm an idea or two. So here's what we'll do. We, I'm going to look here on the Facebooks. I've got it on my screen, but we got this fancy setup, so I can't see all the comments all the time. So I'm going to go over to the Help a Teacher page, and we shall see what we have happening over there. And that way we can get your questions answered. And somebody already messaged me a question, so I'll kick it off with that one. But let me just pull this up and see if we are actually live and things are happening. Also, let us know where you're calling from, or calling like I'm on the radio taking phone calls. Let us know where you're. And if you guys are, how you're going back to school and all of that. All right. So here's what somebody messaged me earlier. Somebody messaged me that sometimes I'll see a picture from a show that I'm doing, and I'm at a conference or at a school or doing something. And there is, I have the PowerPoint, and there's a slide behind me, and it says, in order to make a difference, you must be different. And they asked me if I would talk about what I mean by that. And so here's what I'm talking about. So in order, if you're going to make a difference, you got to be different. Here is my inspiration for that is, I've always said it is impossible to judge a kid's academic potential just by looking at them. I've had so many kids, man, that like they fool me. Like the kid that when I look at him, I think that this kid's going to be academically amazing. That's the kid that ends up struggling. And the kid, I look at him, I think, oh my gosh, this kid is going to struggle. This kid is amazing and academically kills it. But if there is one thing that you can accurately judging the book by the cover, which we should never do, of course. But if there's one thing that I think lots of teachers are pretty good at, is you can take one look at a kid and you can from a mile away, just a split second glance from a mile away, you can pretty much tell if a kid has bought into this whole program we call school and has enjoyed his time thus far. You can spot a kid instantly that doesn't want to be here, doesn't like it, doesn't enjoy the process, hasn't felt successful, has felt like a failure, that for years and years. You can spot that kid a mile away, even on the first day of school. Within the first few minutes of kids coming down the hallway, and they all look the same. It doesn't matter if the kid is 7 or 7th grade or 17. The kids are coming down the hall, first day, going to their first class, first period. And if they're in the elementary school, oftentimes their teacher picked them up somewhere, and they're got the class line. There's the line leader celebrating that kid today. Or if it's a free for all at the high school, everybody's just trying to find first period. It all kind of looks the same, where it's, you have those kids and their eyes are big and wide and bright, and they're looking around. And oh my gosh, they're looking around and they're taking it all in, all this stimulus, all this new stuff is happening. And you can just tell by how fast they're looking around and trying to process everything. You can tell by and their how they stand up and their body language, the gesture as they talk to their friends. Doesn't matter. 7 years old, 7th grade, 17. You can tell that kid wants to be there, man. School's pretty cool. It's okay for that kid. However, there are a few kids, even on that first day, that they haven't even been in a classroom yet, going to their first class of the day, and the kid is walking head down, dragging the backpack, not looking around, no gestures, not interacting with anyone. It's obvious that kid has struggled and hasn't felt successful in school in years. Now, on day one of that school year, for that kid who has struggled for years and felt unsuccessful, and his days are spent just enduring the school year and filled, he just is filled with confusion and feelings of just doesn't fit in and failing. He's miserable in there. On day one, if that kid shows up, comes into the classroom, and I greet that kid the same way every teacher has greeted him for the last 5 years, do I really have the right to expect anything different out of that kid other than exactly how he's performed for the last 5 years? If I teach that kid the same way every teacher has taught that kid for the last 5 years, do I have the right to expect anything other than exactly how he has performed academically for the last 5 years? If he comes through the door, I greet him the same way. I talk to him the same way. I gesture the same way. I teach him the same way. I sit him in the same place in a typical seating arrangement. If I prepare him the same way, assess him the same way, same, everything the same as every teacher has done for the last 5 years. Of course, he's going to replicate exactly what he's done for the last 5 years. So that's when we say, if I'm going to make a difference in that kid's life, I have to be different. And that's scalable, man. Like if you want to make a little bit of a difference in a kid's life, then all you got to do is be a little bit different. But if you want to make a monumental difference in the life of that kid, then yes, be monumentally different, unlike anything the kid has ever experienced in the last 5 years. So when he walks through the class, we greet that kid unlike he's ever been greeted. We speak to him in a way that no one speaks. We're the one person in this kid's life that actually talks directly with the kid, not talking at the kid or talking over the kid or talking by the kid, the child. We're the one person who prepares him and sets him up to be successful academically over and over. So he has repetition, and now he has evidence that he can do this, and evidence upon which he can draw when things get really hard and really tough. Oftentimes as we begin the year, we're constantly told, to increase rigor and raise our academic expectations of kids. Well, if the kid hasn't been successful in the last 5 years, that's not going to help. So, of course, I want to increase rigor and raise expectations. Absolutely. I'm going to do it. But before I get to that, I'm going to have a repetition of success for that kid over and over and over and over. And that's how we're going to change his life, because that's what we signed up to do. Like, that's the whole goal of this thing. Yeah, I want to stuff some knowledge into that kid's noggin for sure. But what I really want to do is make a profound difference in this kid's life, who they're becoming each and every day. All right, let's see. Do we have any questions? Kicking it off. Let us know where you are joining us from, and if you have any questions at all. Let's see what we got. All right. And I also have, I know somebody was emailing me something earlier, and I will check that one out too. Here we go. All right. Yeah, back to school night for some of you. Ain't kidding. Yes. That's true, Paula. Yeah. Even, I don't even know what she's talking about, but, just thinking about that, when we see kids and they walk in, even at back to school night, I'll tell you, this is a perfect example, is before we had back to school night, before the kids actually came to us that year, and it was an elementary setting, and the kids, I got to meet all my fourth grade, their parents at the same time, which is kind of weird because the parents are in there. And one kid, I could tell by looking, and like, this is a moment I want everyone to know that, I'm going to love these kids relentlessly. I'm going to be that teacher they're going to talk about for the rest of their lives. That's the goal. And I want everybody to realize that in the classroom, parents, kids, the whole thing. And I could see this one kid, he's not buying in. He's rolling his eyes. It's just typical. Like, I know what's coming. And I'm fine with that, man. I hated fourth grade too. I'm down. And I'm okay, because I'm going to flip this kid, which that should be my show on HGTV. They have that Flip That House. I need to have that Flip That Kid show. And and I'm thinking, that's my project. That's okay. So, we're leaving, and I'm following the kids, and the parents all leave the classroom. I'm following up behind them. And the mom turns that little boy who, unbeknownst to anyone, he has just now become my project. The mom turns to that kid, and I can still hear her voice and everything. She says to him, "I hated school. I'm so glad that I'm not in here." And I thought, oh my gosh. Like, the work I'm going to have to do to overcome all that conditioning with that mom and that kid. And I think that's the part for teachers, man. Like, for us, that's the disheartening part, because we do all this work. I know, as for me, this is one thing no one talks about. I never hear teachers talk about this, but I know it's in there for some of them, is we do all this work with kids, and we see the metamorphosis, the process of this kid becoming a better, not just a better student, more importantly than that, man, a better person, a better human being. We're developing character within this kid. And like we always say, it's already in the kid. I'm flipping the light on so the kid can see who he truly is. And so he's going to live up to that now that the kid can see it. And we're doing all this work in the classroom. And then, we have the parent teacher conference, and we meet the parents, and it is just a train wreck. And I just think, oh my gosh, like, are they going to undo all the work that I'm doing? I know for sure I am having more of a direct interaction with the kid than they are. I could tell. I've got the kid in my room all day. And I know that kid is going home. I can tell there's a lot of technology happening, a lot of eyes on the phone, a lot of screen time with parents and a kid. So I know there's not a lot of influence going on there as much as I have during it, but it's there all night over the weekend. And of course, at the end of my 9 months with that kid, after I birthed that kid, after that gestation period in my class womb. Yeah, that's a disheartening part for me. Yeah. So if you have any questions, man, let's chat it up. Let's see what we get. I am trying to refresh here. I'm not sure I'm keeping up with you guys as fast as. Let's see. Hey, the other thing I was going to ask is I was trying to ask at the beginning, but I couldn't find the words. Was tell me how you school. We have look. There's schools around here. There are districts right outside of Houston where I live. They're back already. That kids, the whole hybrid thing. So I think the average of the smaller communities, not these in the metroplex and not in the downtown area and the suburb schools of Houston, they're all starting fully online as far as I know. But a lot of the more rural districts, they have the choice. They gave the parents a choice. You want your kids come full time or you want to stay at home. And it looks like about 40% on average, 40% of kids are staying home. So, I'm not sure how they're doing the instruction. They're all doing it different ways where, they split up the academic teams, and some teachers are teaching online and some are teaching in class. Some rooms, they just have the students there in front of it and they're putting the camera on the teacher as the teacher's teaching class, and kids are at home are supposed to be going to school doing the exact same thing, exact same time. So, it's different everywhere. And this is probably, man, the most challenging of all the years. Let's see what we have here. All right. What's up, John McPhee? Let's get into it, brother. Yeah, I just graduated with a master's degree and a dream to teach. God, I love this guy already. Into the worst job market in human memory. You ain't kidding, man. I'm not sure if I should drop my dream and go into something else or if I should just keep applying and keep hoping. Dude, listen to me. All right. I'm your dad now. I'm sure you got an awesome dad, but I'm your dad now. Listen to me, brother. No, do not give up on this. You're right. It's a total dream. Can you imagine the leaders of tomorrow sitting in your classroom today? Like, what job is better than that? And if you figure this thing out, I'm telling you, it will be the most fun that you have ever had. Once you figure out how to make it fun, there's nothing. I'm not saying it's easy. It is incredibly difficult and frustrating, and it's emotional. But here's the thing. I just don't want a job that doesn't have extreme lows. Here's why. If you have a job that doesn't have extreme lows, I promise you're not going to have extreme highs. If you got some cubicle gig where everything, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, whatever. Dude, I'm totally not into that. I'm okay with the trough. I'm okay with the bottom of the wave because I know the crest of the wave, the positive stuff that's coming in. I know it is going to be unbelievably rewarding. And I'm telling you, if it's, and you can't, but here's the thing, you can't give up. Even if you wanted to, you couldn't give up. That's really the dream. And that's not just what you want to do. More importantly, that's who you are as a person. Like, you have to do it. So many of us in this career didn't get a choice. I didn't get a choice. Like, I had to do it. I'm saying, yeah, I could have done other things. I don't want to. I could have if I had to. But man, when you get the call to be a teacher, when that's the dream, you have to pursue that thing. You have to do it. Yeah, for sure. the worst job market in modern memory. Yeah. But there's going to be jobs. And that person, I think, that is connected with their purpose and their passion, and they're driven the most, is going to get that job. I know sometimes we think that, it's experience or education, but I'm telling you, dude, I'm friends with, I don't even know, thousands of principals. They don't care about it. You know what they care about? They care about passion. Who wants to be the one to make a difference in the life of a kid? That's what they care about. And they all say the same thing. We'll teach them the rest. We can teach them how to teach, because here's what everybody knows. Just by the fact that you're passionate about the gig, just by the fact that you want to be there and you're driven to be the most influential adult in the life of a kid, that alone is going to make you a good teacher. I promise you, like, that alone is going to make you good. And then you can learn some skills and techniques and strategies to become great. Definitely do not give up on it. All right, let's see what else we got. What's up, Missy? Hey, Danielle, Florida, Wisconsin, Oklahoma. Hey, by the way, did you guys know we're giving away money tonight? I think that's right. I think we're giving away. I'm terrible at this. I think we're giving away $50 tonight. So make sure you put in a question here. It's a $50 Amazon gift card. All right. Yes. Hey, James, what's up, man? Yep, James, starting distance ed on August 10th. What do you believe? This makes me nervous. It's like reading the question, because I know someone's going to stump me and I'm going to look silly. All right, here we go. What do you believe is the best way to build relationships with students online in this format? All right, this is another perfect example. Tobin, just the fact that you're asking that, like, just the fact you're worried about it, the fact you're thinking about it, lets me know that alone, dude, it's going to be great. Like, I'm telling you. All right, so here's what I always say, and this is true from whether we're in person or online, but especially true when we're online. There's 3 questions I believe every educator needs to take time and dig into the answer. And here's the first one. The first one is, what do I really want for my kids? As a result of these kids spending their lives with me, right now, the fact that they're going to show up on August 10th, even if it's online, right then you become the most influential adult in their life. So you have to be thinking, if I could have anything for these kids, what would it be? And in this particular school year, thinking, okay, this is a defining moment in our nation's history. This is going to be a huge part of our history in the history books. When our kids are talking about this school year and the pandemic in 30 years, what do we want them to be talking about while they were under our care? Even if it's a classroom or a class Zoom, still your kid. What do I want for my kids? Why? Why am I teaching? Why now? Why these kids? Why this school? Why this subject? To really get clear about that, it gets harder and harder every year, and we still come back. And the kids need to know, why do you come back? We have less and less resources with more and more kids, more expectations with less pay, and we keep coming back. And the kids need to know why. And then the third one is who? Who do I need to be for my kids? As the leader of this classroom family, who do I need to be for these kids? And once we dig into that, what do we want for our kids? Why am I here? Why this profession? And who do I need to be for my kids, for my classroom family? Then the key is to articulate that to our kids in the classroom, as opposed to the class Zoom. In the classroom, there's all different ways we can do that. They can see it, body language, gestures, all of that. But now that we have them online, we have to get really comfortable at looking at that little black hole that I'm looking at right there, that I know there's a human being on the other side, and convince ourselves that's not like a hole in the frame around my computer screen. That's a human being. That's a child. That's a life that I'm speaking not at, but speaking into. And you have to articulate what it is you want for your kids and why. To let them know that you love them, articulate that clearly, that you care for them, and why you're there, why this profession, and who you're working on becoming for them, because they deserve it. They need it. For me, of all the stuff, like that's the foundation of it all. And yeah, there's tons of websites now where there's games that people are playing and online icebreakers and all kinds. Yeah, that's all fun and that's cool, whatever. But none of that really matters unless we are able to dig into those three questions of what we want for our kids, why, and who we need to be. And more importantly, to articulate that for our kids. All right. Let's see what else is happening on here. Hey, what's happening? Oklahoma. You know, of all this, listen, I have a special place. Of all the states that I have gone to, there's a few states that, man, there's just so many world-class, compassionate teachers. I'm not going to list all of them for you, but Oklahoma at the top of the list. And here, again, I got lots of theories. Here's my theory. That because that is such a challenging place for a professional educator to teach for lots of reasons, support and funding, the only ones left are the ones that have such a deep passion and deep love for making a difference in the lives of kids. All right. Yeah. All right. I'm sorry, I'm reading. I know. If you guys knew how bad my eyesight was, I'm trying to read some. Let me find a question. Okay. Yes, we have 28% continue. So there it is, 30%. And teachers are doing both full-time, face-to-face with a virtual option. Most kids are going to start the district. Most kids are coming back in person in my rural district. Yes, gosh, it makes me nervous. I don't know how you guys feel about it. It just makes me so nervous. Yeah. John, what do you mean you gave up This is Broadway, brother. Dude, you got shows all day long and that audience can't leave. Yeah. I get it, man. Kentucky, what's happening? Yep. You ain't kidding. Gene, listen, they absolutely need us more than ever right now. You know, this is, I keep saying it, man, but this is the generation of kids that that will talk about this for the rest of their lives. And here's, you know, this is the exciting part for me. Like never before have we had these kinds of challenges. And these, and if you think about all it's transpired since March of last year, you know, if you think about everything, all the phases that these kids have gone through and teachers, what have they have gone through? They started out with uncertainty and this COVID thing. We didn't even know what it was. And it didn't seem like there's many cases, but I guess we're not going back after spring break. Maybe we'll go back in a week or two. And then maybe we'll go back at the beginning of April, maybe end of April, we'll go back so we can finish in May. But then we never went back. And so those kids haven't had the closure that they desperately require. They desperately need, and neither have teachers, man. This is such a deep relationship that we form with our classroom family. And to have that relationship come to an end with no closure at all, that is traumatic. And I know, man, we totally overused that word trauma. So I really believe it's overused, but not this year and not this circumstance. And then, you know, we've had just coming to a head, becoming forced to look at the truth of racial injustices and being forced to deal with that. And now and these kids are seeing, and when they don't show peaceful protesting on the news, that's not going to get ratings. They show violence, and they don't show people having calm, critical conversations. They show anger and hatred. And And then people, just the numbers of what kids and teachers see on the news about the number of cases that are skyrocketing, and now we're at what, 155, 160,000 deaths just in this country, millions upon cases, millions and millions and millions upon millions of cases. And we're coming back to school with so much uncertainty. And remember, like, that's the only thing a kid really wants, is a sense of certainty. Like, that's the basics of it all. They say they want freedom and independence. They may want that. That's not what they need. They need absolute certainty, because that's when they feel safe and loved and they can learn. And to come back this year with all of that happening, you're right. This is the time when our nation needs teachers more than ever. And I know there's questions on here is, how can I connect and get parental support online? Isn't that sad? Everyone should be asking, how can I connect and support my teachers? How can I connect with my kids' teachers? How can I support it never ceases to amaze me. I find it shocking. I don't know why. You think I get used to it. But this should be a time when parents are asking how they can support you, how they can connect with you, how they can help you. And here we are, scrambling away, searching to find ways that we can connect with our kids. Yeah. So that, of course, that's the $1 million question, is how can we connect with our kids online? How can we connect with parents? And I have seen so many great examples. And first of all, for our younger kids, listen, man, I wish there was an answer, but you and I both know, oh my God, like, I've been in those rooms. I've been on the Zoom. I've been in with all the little boxes, and they're just kids. It's just running around, and some kid has got a guinea pig in the thing. Another kid is showing a tooth that's missing and looking at their noses. Like, all that's happening. Like, I'm like, so for me, the best examples I have seen is, first of all, going in, just filling yourself with a sense of grace and understanding that this is hard and this is challenging. Of course it is. And it should be. We're changing somebody's life. It's not like it's supposed to be easy. But everything you can do, constantly get the kids engaged, talking about, okay, reach up and touch your finger on my nose right there. You got to touch your nose. Right? You find me on your screen, put your hand down. Now raise your left hand. And as you're teaching, hold the camera so I can see right there. There it is. As you're teaching, constantly engaging with the kids. And again, little short moments at times, for a few reasons. One is, obviously, the time a kid can stay engaged is really limited. And people, that's the crazy part. People say, oh my God, they're on their screens all the time anyway. Well, how come they can't stay engaged with it? Are you kidding me? The kids are playing games and are watching movies, and all kinds of action is happening. This is a whole different deal. There's certainly no way we can compete with all the other stimulus they're getting off of that screen, for sure. But here's the other reason: we have micro amounts of times. Here's why: because for a kid, really adults too, but I just care about the kids, is they remember first and last moments. So if you have like a 30-minute window of teaching time, there's one first and one last moment. But if you break that up into 5-6 minute times, there's 5 first moments and 5 last moments that they're going to remember. So instead of just a 2, now we have 10. So all that content that we're trying to cover, mostly they're going to remember what happens first and what happens last in that block of time. So we're going to chop that up. It's like a pizza. You know, if you ordered a pizza and it came to the house, and you open up, people are excited, the delivery person leaves, you open up the pizza, but they forgot to cut it into those crazy pizza triangles. It's just a big pie. We got a 20-inch pizza. What are we going to do with it? It's not like the family's going to gather around and everybody grab an edge of this thing and reach up, try to chomp it down. What would you do? You would split that pizza up into individual pieces that you can manage and handle and chew and digest. Same thing with blocks of time. All right, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, man, Gene, I'm so fired up for you. That's exactly right. They need us now more than ever. I'm always surprised when I look through these and I see who is on and who's joining us. I just love the fact that we have people from around the globe. I'm always thinking when they're on here, you know what I'm thinking, man, what time is it there? That's really what's on my mind. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Right. Charles Nash. Yeah, brother. Yep. I get it, man. Dude, I love this dude. Yeah. My staff and my students need me and I will serve them. You know, that's what I love about this job. They talk about servant leadership in every other profession. They do. But this is where you truly find it. Like that is what leadership has to be about in this profession. And when I see principals like Charles Nash or superintendents like Rhonda Turner out of Quitman ISD, just doing whatever it takes to serve their kids, provide their teachers and their kids with exactly what they need. Man, it's inspiring. And I agree, Rhonda. I've thought a lot about, she says, the what ifs of going back. But what if we don't go back? Man, this is one of those situations. There's just no right answer. And I think that's the beauty of smaller rural districts, that they have the opportunity to choose and to create what's best for them, what's best for their kids, what's best for their families and their communities. And I believe it. Some of them, what the best thing with the number of cases and what they have available in their medical support system in some of these I think the best thing is to stay home. I do. But the beautiful thing is these towns get to choose. These communities and these school districts have the opportunity to choose what's best for their kids. And I love that's the foundation for decision making. Yeah. Tobin. 5 shows a day, 5 days a week, baby. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Gene, listen, man, you're a rock star. I love her. All right, me and you are going to be best friends. All right, here's the thing. Yeah. I tell my parents that it's still my job to do the teaching. I will take as much of their support as I can get, and I will teach them how. Don't you love that? I went, I love that. I went when my kid was in high school, she was in some fancy schmancy English literature class that I would have never been in, something for college credit. And we went to meet, this is, she's like a high school senior, and we went to meet the teacher, and the teacher is basically yelling at the parents. Like, leave your kid alone. Let me do the teaching. You just support them. Don't look at their grades. Their grades are going to be terrible. This is a college credit class. They're becoming college students our senior year. And she's like yelling at, I'm thinking, the only thing I'm thinking is you got to get out of this class, baby. It's the teacher. It is so hard. What are you doing in here? Just go over the other class. And, but like I get it though. Like I totally get it. Like, yeah, we need parent support, and yes, we can teach them how, and yes, we can provide them with resources on how to support us. But listen, I'm going to teach your kid. I'll be the teacher. I would love your support, absolutely, but I'm going to get in there and teach unlike I've ever taught before, with more passion and more excitement. What I love about this is all the information I've seen these veteran teachers going back this year with the thought of a first-year teacher. Like, we've never done this before. We've never been in a hybrid. We've never taught online, exclusively online. We never taught online, then go back. This is unlike anything we've ever done before. And what I love is seeing these veteran teachers of decades nervous, like excited, nervous, more than they've ever been. If you're a real teacher, you're excited and nervous before every school year, for sure. You're laying your clothes out the night before, all that stuff. You're tossing and turning. You're thinking about all this stuff. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot to do the bulletin board. You're thinking of all those things. And it's so exciting to kick off the year. Man, this is a year to be excited unlike ever before. Everybody's a first year teacher. I love that. Man, that's like what's so exciting as we begin the year to think about that. And whether it's online, in person, some wacky hybrid combo of the two. Yeah. All right. So, hey, let's give away some money. You guys want to? All right, here we go. We have a winner. Let me check. We did the random. What we do, by the way, we put the names into a randomizer. You can look for one online and then put all those names in and it pops up. And let's see who popped up. Hey, look at this guy. Giving up a few shows a week on Broadway to shows every day in the classroom. John McPhee, it's you, brother. And if you send a message to the Help a Teacher Facebook page, we will send you instructions on how to redeem your $50 Amazon gift card. All right, man, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for tonight. I had a blast, as always. Thank you for all your questions and comments. And listen, I know that going back, I know there is butterfly, that your tummy is doing weird stuff and you have these crazy thoughts and your brain is racing. I know, but here's what I want you to do is I want you to look at all those physical symptoms as you're worried to go back and think about all the physical symptoms of pure anticipation and excitement, how your tummy feels, how the brain activity, a lot of them are the same symptoms. And as we're filled with concern for our kids, and as we're going back, I really hope we can start shifting that into excitement and letting our kids know just how much we love them, what we want for them, why we're there, who we need to be for them. And we're going to kick off this year and just do the absolute very best that we possibly can with whatever we have to work with. All right, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Have an amazing rest of your week, and I will see you next Monday. All right, take care, everybody.